Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. It is episode 219. I am Marie here today, Tuesday. I know, Tuesday, the 20th of December. Thanks for yesterday. I had a few things that I needed sorting out. So I thought we'd just shut things down a day. It's all good. And the best part is, of course, by doing it today, it means I can talk about Stitchin Summer, which is on right now. I'll let you guys come on in. It's raining again. I am so over the rain. You have no idea how much I am over the rain. Yeah, it's crazy. So, and I know so many people in the North Island feel the same because I think we're getting hammered pretty hard up here. It's crazy. But hopefully, many of you have been able to get some knitting done in between getting everything ready for the festive break. I have to admit, I haven't done a huge amount. I didn't bring it in today, but I have gotten probably, I've done 2 more large blocks on my basket weaver. So I'm gently chugging through. So hopefully I should actually have that pretty much done and dusted by the time I get a little bit of a festive break. So that would be awesome. And heading away at the end of January for a couple of weeks. And you know how I like to take a project away, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on, heading the projects away. And then that way we can I can get into something a little bit more meaty. Yes, and I know, Tabitha, I did notice that you were very early noticing that vintage was on sale this morning. Today it is vintage day for Stitchin Summer. That's right. Stitchin Summer is here, and vintage, of course, is one of our all-time favourite yarns. It has a very special place in my heart. It is the very first yarn that I worked on in new product development when I started working for the company. And that was many moons ago, and I love it dearly, and it is on sale today. And I've been actually, in fact, I was up at 5:30 this morning, moving everything, just making sure I also put all the vintage in the sale page to make it nice and easy for you to find. So it is there. So you can find it there. Or if you just put vintage in the search bar, that I think is the easiest way for it to pop up. It will turn up that way as well. So if you are new to our vintage and you haven't met our vintage before, I just adore this yarn. This to me is this can do everything yarn. I just love it. We've got so many colors. I've just grabbed actually the worsted template because I just grabbed the first one closest to the shelf actually because there were people in front of the DK. But this is it here. This is the Do Anything yarn. So this is 100% New Zealand wool. It is a beautiful long fibre staple in a 4-fold twist with a little bit extra twist in it, slightly higher angle of twist than our other yarns like Perrindale or Southlander. And what that means is it makes a beautifully cylindrical yarn, which is really smooth, that gives fantastic stitch definition. And for me, vintage is the ultimate Goldilocks of yarns. It is not too coarse, it's not too soft, it is just right. And I just love it. And it is so lovely and warm and versatile, and it wears really well. I just adore it. So I thought today what I would do. Good morning, everyone. Oh, everyone's here. Good morning, Charles. So Merry Christmas. All the Americans are here, which is so good to see. And a couple of Aussies too. Gosh, it's feeling very international today. What I thought I would do, don't laugh, is I thought I would show you just to prove, not really to prove, but just to show you. I've actually pulled up my Ravelry profile. And as you can see, I'm the world's worst at opening my Rav mail. And I've gone and done this because I wanted to show you. I am pretty slack at actually putting projects up, but I had a little bit of a lash a little wee while back, and actually got a lot of projects loaded up because I'd been a bit slack, and a lot of people do still check projects on Ravelry. So I decided to jump in, and some of the photos are absolutely awful because I have not actually taken better photographs of it. This would be case in point. Not the most flattering photograph of moi, but I wanted to get it up. I literally had to take this photo with the camera perched on the shelf on a timer, so I couldn't actually see what I looked like when I took it. But I will actually get Heather to help out and take another one. So this is the Fox Bay, which is here. It is here because it lives in the shop, which I did in the Fabulous Diva, and I've hardly worn this. In fact, I've only worn it twice because, of course, by the time I got it finished, then we headed into the summer, warmer months, so I haven't worn it. But I just adore this. Um, it was so nice to work with vintage again after not having knitted anything for about a year or so. And any double knitting or essentially any design that you can think of that has a gauge from really to even 24 you can get down to, but 22 stitches up to about 16 stitches if you shift to the 10 ply, you will be able to substitute vintage into, because with both those weights there is lots of things going here. So this was my Fox Bay. So this is my most recent project. But I have also done a number of projects. So that was the most recent. And then this was the one that I did the time before, which I wanted to show you. So this is done in the template. So this is my best friend. He's going to kill me, but it's all right because he doesn't watch my videos. It's all good. Don't you love it, best friend? He's not interested in me, buds. So this is my best friend, and we've been BFFs for too long to mention. It took me, oh gosh, I think he must have badgered me for more than a decade to knit him a jumper. So last year, his birthday is Anzac Day, which is our Memorial Day, Veterans Memorial Day, which is the 25th of April. So I thought I would knit him a sweater for his birthday. And there it is. And it wasn't even a significant birthday because him and I shared our significant birthdays this year. So it was just, I thought, no, it's time. And that is in the vintage 10 ply in the eggshell. And as you can see, it's utterly gorgeous. It's the Point Judith pullover. Many of you I know knitted along with this one. And I cannot tell you how delighted I was with this finished project. I ended up having to, I think I talked about this at the time in the diaries, I couldn't believe it. I ended up knitting one of the sleeves on the wrong size. No, I'd cast on the wrong size in one of the sleeves, and I got 2/3 of the way up the sleeve. In fact, got to the sleeve shaping and realised that I had knitted the wrong size. So I had to frog an entire sleeve back and go again. However, it was the first project I'd knit in pieces for a really long time, and I'd forgotten actually how much I enjoy knitting in pieces, and I forgot how much I actually enjoyed doing some Aran work, and it was fantastic. And he is still wearing this actually. He's worn it quite a number of times, and he's not washed it yet, and it still literally looks as good as it did the day that it came off the needles. It is really, really fantastic. I'm just jumping back to see the comments because I can't see the comments when I'm in the other screen. Oh, very good. Everyone's so wonderful to see everyone here today. Here we go. Matilda's got a great question. I have a pattern that calls for DK, but their pattern gauge is 16 stitches. Is your vintage DK better or the 10 ply, since the 10 ply is around that 16 stitch gauge? Actually, I think your instinct is right there. In terms of that gauge, I would be going with the 10 ply. I have knitted a DK to that gauge before, and it is, which is the Love Note, and it does look great. But here's the big but: there is a little bit of stretching, shaping. It is an over-eased sort of pattern. I'm actually I'm looking, as much as a friend of mine does not want me to do it, as much as Ethan thinks that I'm crazy. I'm actually going to be dropping my needle size on that. However, I think you're right. If you want to, or you could actually increase your yarn weight. So it depends on which way you want to go. If you want a lighter fabric, stay with the DK, pull your needles back, and then just adjust your sizing for the gauge, which is a little bit challenging for some, or increase up to the 10 ply, go to the 16 stitch gauge, and I think you'll find it'll perform a lot better for you, Matilda. So yes, I would be doing that. I know, so it's not just me getting all the storms and stuff. We had crazy ones yesterday. Um, oh, see, well done. You saying you would just have two different sleeve sizes. If it were me, I probably would have done it, but it wasn't for me. I was knitting it for a gift. Um, Meet saying, would the vintage work for the Nanil chick? It's most definitely would. And in fact, it will look fabulous in the Nanil Chick Sancho by that's Caitlin Hunter. It will look amazing. It was great for stranded colour work. Oh, it's not machine washable. And I know some people are like, oh no, well, I only like it being super wash. Oh, tush tosh. Doesn't need to be super wash. And that's what I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you some of my baby projects shortly. Because I did a good chunk of my baby projects in this. And it doesn't need to be super wash, and it makes it great. It makes it great for not only stranded color work, but even more intricate ferrules and steeking. If you're doing something in the round and it needs to be steeked, this steeks fantastically well. Megan's asking, I'm thinking of knitting a 5-ply jersey for someone who would wear short-sleeved shirt underneath. What would be the best yarn selection that is soft, not too scratchy, and I could use 4-ply for softer options? Actually the yarn, depending on the color that you want to go, and without seeing the design, obviously, I actually think a really, really nice option that's sort of in the zone is Cove 4-ply. Because Cove 4-ply is, I know what the technical count for it is, so it's at that heavier end of 4-ply, closer to sport weight. So you'll get gauge really well, and it's a recycled sort of luxury blend fiber. So it is lovely and soft and quite unctuous. So I actually think that is a really nice option. The other option is if you want to be careful. Just look at your gauge, but if softness is your primary concern, the Mahana 4-ply is beautiful, but that's at the finer end of 4-ply, so that's the one thing you'll just need to watch out for. And of course, Sokmetition, if you picked some of that up on the sale, that's also really good. Or good me, I'm glad you're not worried about the washing. Right, I'll just show you some more of these projects. I'm going to jump to, let's get back to the screen so I know what I'm doing. Let's jump to babies. I've had to so these, I haven't knitted a lot of baby projects for ages, but I have, actually, this is my baby chocolat. I'm just going to show you this for a second because I did this in Silver Lining when we had Silver Lining, but we now have Flight Naturals. But this baby chocolat also looks brilliant in vintage. It's only a single size cardigan. I made it for my cousin's son. I made it up. Chardonnay was involved. I wrote the pattern down, and I have never bothered grading it. And I know you're listening, Charles, and you're probably tisk right now because I should be doing these things. But it is just the cutest little quick whip up cardigan if you need to do a new kids cardigan. And you can see from these 3 cardigans here, that's where the inspiration. I've made all those cardigans are made up as well. And then I thought I'd better get my act together and actually write something up. Right, this is the Scarlet Shakes. This is Olieria by Georgie Nicholson, who of course wrote Miss Jane, which you know that I all love. This Olieria cardigan is a great one. It's got some ruching to it, and it she does it so it can be in long or short sleeve format. It also can be longer in the body or shorter in the body. I knitted this for my friend's baby. As you can see, this was a Christmas present for her. And as you can see, she's got beautiful, beautiful dark features. And so to me, I knew she'd look amazing in red. And red is one of my favorite baby colors of all time. So if you're looking for something to knit for babies, and especially if you are not wanting to go down gender stereotypes, I think red is the perfect gender neutral baby color. I adore it. And as you can see, she looks gorgeous in it. And there it is there. And I can tell you right now that this did it did her younger sister, and then it got passed on to other babies as well. So that was one that was just fabulous in vintage. Oh gosh, I look at something. Gosh, I don't remember knitting that. I don't remember knitting that. Oh, this little singlet is. I'm just trying to remember what it was, oh, hold on, I'll have a look. As you, because one of these, this one here, I think is Southlander and what's it? Felipe. There we go. The little Felipe. I did heaps of these Felipe beasts, which is Hohi Locatelli, little freebie. And I would, oopsie, sometimes I would modify them and do them in the round. Sometimes I would do them flat. I'd just change them all up. Now, where are we? Now this I think was vintage. And I stuck the heart on. Yes, I did. And in fact, I think I duplicate stitched that looking at it. It's been a while. Yeah, there we go. There was vintage and porcelain. And again, this was one that got gifted out as vintage and cadet blue. I can remember now looking at it. And this was from a Claire Keaton book, which I've shown you before. It's as old as the hills. Loved it. And a number, where are we? I'm going to have to scroll because I've knitted so much. I've done 1,000,001 Milos. Oh, there we go. This is one. I love this one. Oh, this is my little man. This is my little main man, Hugo. Hopefully he doesn't wake up and start watching this. He sometimes does. This is my little main man, Hugo. He's 4. Now, this little tacker here, he is now 14, 6'3", and 110 kilos, I think, thereabouts. He's my whopper. He's a big old lad, is our Hugo, and yeah, this is him. Gosh, I don't even think he was 1. And this wee vest is one that I made up. It's called the tricolour vest. And for those who are eagle-eyed, you'll notice that little tessellating pattern. So I used in that was it was truffle Wedgwood. I think the edging was charcoal. And I've got a funny feeling it was either porcelain or sweet corn. Or was it porcelain or sweet corn? It might have been. I've got Joe Sharp. Oh no, yes, it might have been. That would have potentially been the Joe Sharp. Was the lighter brown? That's right. And this was probably one of the little vests that, because the yarns that I know that I used were in Threadway, so it was before we'd even launched vintage. And you can see that little tessellating pattern I have used in the Harding Road hat, and also in the other little baby hats that I have. It's a stitch pattern that I love, colour pattern. It's a mosaic pattern, and it's sort of like a sort of part mosaic hybrid, almost slightly linen stitch type effect, and I just absolutely adored it, and I just did it again and again and again. And that wee vest is still alive, and I have it at home. I had passed a lot of this. Oh, I've done it again. I'd passed a lot of these things down to my cousin, who had a baby later than expected, and she gave them back to me a few years ago. I couldn't believe it. It was so exciting. There's our little man. Oh, my little main man Hugo. This here. This is number 1. He's now 16. Now this is also in vintage, and this was actually some colours that we played around with, and we ended up with and I remember these because these were actually Dye House trials, and we ended up going with the colour in between, which became Alpine Green. We went to the darker shade and then the lighter shade, and it was ended up Goldilocksing and settling on the one in between. And I still have that that suit. I'm just seeing if there it is. This one here, I still have this. I cannot believe I still have this. And as you can see there, it's looking a little bit worse for wear. It went out, it came back, and I actually got it back, and I ran when I got it back, and it was looking a little bit pilled and stuff, but it was just there, and I got it back. And so that's truffle and carmine. Sorry about the colour on it because of the photography. Not the best photography, and I've still got it, the hat, the boots, and the cardigan and everything. And so I ran my little friend here, the fabric shaver over it. Seriously, it looks $1 million now. It looks so amazing. and it just shows you they go forever. This is the other one that I wanted to show you. This vest here was, again, most of these I'm really sorry I can't give you patterns for, because a lot of the baby knitting I did back then, I was a menace. I was a real menace, and I didn't. I had one Claire Keaton baby book that I used all the time, and then I'd make a lot of modifications from that one book, and then I would just give up, and then I would just start. I would go off reservation and just go completely random, and just start making up. I'd have some yarn, and I'd get bored, and I'd often be starting to knit these at the wee small hours of the morning because you're up breastfeeding and all the rest of it. And this is a wee vest I started for Hugo. And as you can see, it's red. I have had a fondness for red. This is Carmine again. A fondness for red yarn for babies for a very, 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 very long time. There's that tessellating pattern again. Remember that. These are actually a number of patterns that I did for people back in the day. Gosh, it's a trip down memory lane, isn't it? Let's see if I've got some for the kids as they're a bit older. Because I've been doing this a long, long time with the vintage. So you get to see the progression of the age of the kids. Let's have a look. Oh gosh, there's all sorts here. Look at this, Milos, lots of vests. Oh, here we go. Now, this, you'll recognise that. This is a Milo. So actually, Louis was dinosaur mad. So you can see the carmine and the charcoal. The green, I think, just came from Stash. Or it might have been a limited edition colour, actually, we did. Because we did the odd one back then. And this was a trial of some prints that we had. And I used to do lots of things like that back in the day. And Milo, this is Milo by Georgie Nicholson, which was a very, very firm favourite in our house. As you can see, there's a lot of Milos going on there, team. A lot of Milos going on there. And I would muck around and there you go. There's another one. That hat's all vintage. Oh gosh, that's a trip down memory lane. So then we've got, what have we got in there? We have, some of these are limited edition colours and some we're not. So I think there's Cadet in there, that's tapestry green. Some of these were colours that we decided, that was that teal that I told you about that ended up becoming alpine green. I know, crazy, right? Here we go. This one got worn to death. And in fact, this is one that boomeranged back. Even complete with little dinosaur motif. Trust me, there was a lot of dinosaurs in my life for a while. This is Truffle, good old Truffle. And as you can see, I've got boys. So this little vest, I swear, is indestructible. It just did so much hard work. So as you can see, there is a theme about keeping things working really well and making your knitting go further, and that certainly did make my knitting go further, I have to say. Oh, there's that little vest there. So I won't bore you anymore with my tales down memory lane. But I just thought I wanted to share with you how much and how long those patterns can actually last, and how fabulous vintage is in knitting something that is enduring and will last a long time. It really, really does. So $3.95 today only. I know we've done vintage ones in the past, but it is great, great work. So do get yourself some vintage into Stash, because it is, I mean, I've still got little hints of vintage back from way back in the day. Some colours that I've kept. In fact, I've kept some colours, original colours down in big green over there, because they are, it just goes and goes and goes and lasts forever, and I love it to pieces. Actually, the other sample I grabbed from out in the shop this is in the 10-ply. This is the flex. I think this is flex. Is this the flex cardigan by Tin Can Knits, which of course is a freebie. Really, really popular. And if you are wanting a quick, easy sweater, which is gradable from children all the way through to adults, the flex is great. And we've just done this up in our vintage 10-ply, and it is such a good doer. So those are great projects across the summer months. Now, Christmas. Yeah, I know. It's this weekend. So we are here in store, physically in store until Friday. And then we're closing for 4 days. So we're going to take a 4-day weekend. And then we're back again on Wednesday, the 28th, for 3 days, and then gone again for 4, but then back after that. It's back to normal hours after that. So we would love to see you guys if you are in the Bay. If you are wanting orders before Christmas, we are pretty up to date with our orders. We're working really, really hard. I think I've put down today being the last day to guarantee orders before Christmas if you are in New Zealand, with the exception of rural delivery, and South Island could be touch and go depending on where you are, but definitely North Island. At this stage, the way the couriers are traveling, we're good. New Zealand couriers have been doing a great, great job. So there is still a chance to get something to your place. I wanted to let you know that we have restocked these. Oh my gosh, we can't keep these in stock. These have been going absolutely nuts. And I did actually have someone in yesterday, who I just whipped in briefly, who actually bought it for the fibre to spin. And actually, when I have a look at the number of what we've got in here, has it got the grammage in here? Let's say the grammage. It doesn't, but there will actually be enough there if you're a fine spinner, you will actually get a lovely skein out of that. And that's silk merino. I have spun this silk merino before, and it's beautiful to spin. So that's pretty good value. If you don't fancy, if you get to a point that you buy it for the kit and you think, and you like to spin, you can spin it. So we've got those back in stock. And as I mentioned before, I know that this seems to be the craziest Christmas present ever, but trust me, this is the one gadget you don't know that you need, that you need to have. Believe me, this is the gadget. It is. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite knitting tools ever. It is the best thing, and it just keeps your knits looking $1 million. We still have a couple of kits in stock, needle sets. As you can see, there's still a day and night set over my shoulder there. By the look of it, there's only 1 or 2 of those left, so those are available. And I still see that we've got a couple of Symphony Rosewoods as well. They have been going. They have been going really, really well. So do make sure you go in and get those. We still have one very special Stitchin Summer coming up on Thursday, so don't miss out on that. It is going to be another real goodie, and I've just been loading up the ones across next week and early into the week after as well. We've got some really good ones coming, and of course today's an absolute cracker. So still plenty of knitting to be had, shopping to be had. Hopefully the weather comes right at your place and you get organised for your festivities, however they are, big or small, this weekend. All right, I'm going to get going so I can get things loaded up for you between now and then. Take care, and I will be back here on Thursday. See ya.